Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. This is Nancy, and look at our first snow in Kentucky. Isn't this beautiful? But not only is it beautiful, boy, is it cold. Look at this. That's what, 11 degrees? Sure not going to stay out here long, but wanted to show you what came in the mail today. Tulips. Now, I have talked about this many times, and I often see this question, how late can you plant your tulips? Well, we are in a zone 7, and ideally, the end of October is the best time for us to plant tulips and bulbs such as that. But you can also plant them in pots. So usually in January, I am getting my tulip bulbs, 80, 85, 90% off. I'm getting a lot of bulbs for a little money. And what I have done, you can see the only steps has been the delivery man. Right down this driveway, right there and there, right behind those two boxwoods, I have ordered 4 17-gallon storage containers. They're round from Walmart. I believe I paid $6.97 for them, free delivery. So those will be here. And in my tulip order, I ordered 100 gladiolas and 100 tulip bulbs. So what I'm going to do is when I get my containers, which should probably be tomorrow, I will take them inside, let the plastic heat up, and then I will drill some drainage holes in the bottom. So I am ready. I think our weather is going to break maybe in about a week. It should be back up, if I can get out. I've worked in the 20s, but I prefer the 40s, possibly 50s. But I'm going to get out, and I am going to place those black containers that I was telling you, 2 on each side. And I'm going to put the gladiolas, and after I put some soil in, I'm going to put the gladiolas in the bottom, more soil, and then I'll put the tulips in. Now, if I can find some jonquils, some buttercups, I will also put those in, because those all bloom at different times, so you have different things coming up. And this is north facing for me, but I've been watching, and right down there, I think I get enough sun that my tulips and my glads would do well. Now, I'll also go around back and get some of my variegated hostas, and I will plant in there so that I will have something in there pretty much 3 seasons. Then I can always stick, I can always make winter containers like I do with just different things that I have around in my garden. So yes, even when it is 10 degrees and you have 3 or 4 inches of snow, you can still plan your projects and get your bulbs in and your containers in. And I think I added it up, and including the compost, I'm going to come in about $100 for 4 containers that would encompass 3 seasons. So I'm pretty proud of that. We'll have to watch and see how that turns out. But I am going to get back in the house. It's a little chilly out here, and start some chili, and I will bring you all along as I make my chili. But first, these are some videos I've been collecting of Ramsey and Lucy and the chickens. So take a look at those. No, bring my glove back. You bring my glove back. Ramsey, bring Mama's glove back. Silly goose. Come here. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? What you doing, bud? What are you doing? Trying to get your sister? Are you trying to get your sister? Are you trying to get your sister? Ramsey, Come here. Ramsey. She's not back there. She's over here. Where is she? Oh, there she is. There she is. You just want to give her a little hug? Is that all it is? You just want to give her a hug? I like to give the chickens cracked corn in the winter. It's high in carbs, and it really seems to help them. Now, their body weight is 105 degrees. So I really don't have to worry that much. I have tarps around their coop to keep the wind off, and as long as I can do that, they seem to be okay. And in fact, let's see, there's an egg. There's an egg. And there's 2 eggs. So we're also getting eggs. But there are the girls. There are the girls. They love the corn. I sure hope you enjoyed seeing the videos of Lucy and Ramsey and the chickens. They are just the sweetest little things. So let me tell you how I make my chili. First of all, you'll see that I have a stock pot and I have just a little bit of water in it. Maybe, I don't know, 2 cups, something like that. Now, I use a sweet onion, and I had a salad last night, so I did go ahead and use some of this onion. So I use sweet onion. I'm going to dice that up. I am going to use about a half of this green pepper, and I'm going to dice that up. This is 1 pound of ground beef. This is the chili mix. Use any kind that you want. And then I have a can of tomatoes and 2 cans of chili beans. Now, when you make your chili, you can put any type of beans, tomatoes, whole tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste, just whatever you want. And then after I'm gonna saute, I'm gonna cook my hamburger and saute my onions and peppers together. And then something that I do is I rinse it. I pour the grease out and I literally rinse the hamburger to try to get just as much fat out of it as I can. Make it just a little bit healthier. So when I need to add my liquid back in, I actually use beef broth. So that's just something that gives it just a little extra flavor, not very expensive, but it just seems to really make it tasty. So those are the ingredients to make the chili. So let's get started. I now have my hamburger meat, my sweet onion, and my bell pepper, half of my bell pepper, cut up and put in my pot. So I'm going to turn it on, put the lid on, and let that cook. But I wanted to show you something right here. Do you see what I've done? I'm going to pull out the seeds from this green pepper, and I am going to, I'll put this in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag, and then I'll scrape these off on this paper towel and let them dry, and then I'll put them in an envelope. And I am really going to be more intentional this year about saving my seeds, because even though I myself may not want to use them, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who could use them. So, and maybe I'm really wanting to have a seed swap at my house at the end of this year. This is something that I have been thinking about for a couple of years, but I want to set aside a time when people could just come into my garden and they can collect seeds, and we can, if you're not sure how to do it, we can go over what's ready to collect and what's not. But I am going to save everything that I use in the kitchen. I'm going to save all the seeds, and then I'll have those that people can take home, because I don't think I would use all of these. But let's just let this cook, and while we are doing that, Cameron and I are going to finish our game of Monopoly. So I'll see you back when this has cooked through thoroughly. So we have cooked our hamburger meat and our green pepper and our sweet onion. Now when I say that I drain and I rinse this, usually it's the hamburger meat, what I do is I take about 5 bags from Walmart, Dollar Tree, whatever you have. I put them together to make one. I put that in my trash can, and I pour what is the grease that has collected in the pot. Then I take very hot water. I'm going to turn this down some. I take very hot water and I just rinse this a couple of times in my sink, and then I let the water run so I don't stop up my own drain. And I do that just to try to get the fat out. So now we are ready to start adding the rest of our ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to pour in is the broth, then the tomatoes, then the chili beans. Get all of those in there. I'm going to put 2 cans of those in. Okay. Next, I have this chili seasoning. Get all that in there. Now, this looks a little dry, right? We'll stir this around and get this all incorporated. But to me, now when I go to eat my chili, this is about the consistency that I want it. And also you decide if you want how big a chunks you want your hamburger meat in. That is totally up to you. But I do keep some water here that I can pour in here if I think it's getting too thick. And I do plan on letting this simmer for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Now, and I am going to add just a little bit of water. And then I just keep this water on the stove. That way when I check it, I can add some more. And like I said, the consistency completely is your preference. But I do like mine just a little bit thicker instead of, I guess, more of the juice, you might say. So I am actually going to put the top back on this and let it simmer for a while. Now, in about 30 minutes, this is going, you could eat this. I mean, it's edible. But to me, I think the longer you let it simmer, the slower it simmers, the better it is. So, if you leave the top off like this and you have it turned up on high, it's going to boil, and it's going to boil your liquid out. So you're going to need to keep an eye on it, number one, so you don't burn it. But when you put a top on it and let it simmer, Then, and usually what I do is I turn mine back up, and then when it comes, when I can tell that it's really rolling in there, I'll turn it back down about halfway. On my stove, it's a number 2, but there is a button that says simmer. So that is how I simmer my chili. And then the next time we talk about this, we're going to have it plated and we'll be ready to eat. And there it is. Our chili is all ready. I like mine with sour cream and cheese and crackers. And I will mention that I did not put any salt in this recipe because I am trying to watch my sodium. But I hope that this has encouraged you to make some chili. And I appreciate everyone who has watched this video. And we will see you on the next one. Have a great night.